hello. I was listening to this intro music of the countdown and I said, oh my God, this is so Halloween music. Welcome, everybody. And today we're going to talk about a really special topic. It's kind of easy for most of the people or for some people to access, to listen, to see, to watch, to understand what we see on a live stream. But let's make a little bit broader on the content. But for other many people, it's not that easy to understand, to make accessible, to be possible to listen, to watch, to understand as well what people are saying, what they want to share with us. So today we're going to talk about this important thing, making live streaming. And okay, I think we can go a little bit broader, making content available, accessible to all the people. So stay tuned because we will be back soon. Hello. Welcome everybody to another the special marketing live show episode. And guess what? It's the 13th episode of this season. Oh, we had Halloween, we had this countdown music, and now we have the 13th episode. What else do you want? Okay, I think you may want to try our platform. This live show, it's sponsored by SEA Ranking, a good tool for SEO mostly, but you can understand what your competitors are doing, what are doing good on your website and not so good. Okay, so try it. You have the link in the description so you can try it because it's a really powerful tool. But today we are here to talk about accessibility, about making things easy for others to consume, to view, to listen, and to be understood. Okay, so let's bring our amazing guest, DJ, to the screen so she can share with us all their knowledge. Let's see if this works. Aha! There you go.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to have you here. You are so lovely, present, so sweet, and to talk about something that I think we should talk. It's not just talk, and not making some reflections, thinking a little bit broader. So today we're gonna talk about this important issue. Okay, and let's welcome to the people as well which are watching us. Martin, hello. Martin, hello. Mackenzie, and Martin again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know if you have any questions, any comments. Just don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Sure. Welcome.
Okay, DJ, if you don't mind to introduce yourself so the audience can know you a little bit better, and we will jump into the conversation. And we have Tim as well. Hello.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for the invite. I'm glad we can work together, collaborate, and really speak on this important issue that's really becoming near and dear to my heart as I live stream, and I'm really also creating content like many of us are. My background is in disability, mental health, and trauma. I've worked in social services for over 20 years. And it's something that I love, to be inclusive, to really advocate for individuals that need more opportunities and that genuinely are on the receiving end of having more barriers towards being able to have access to information, access to products, access to, just anything virtual. And I think now as we're getting more and more virtual, it's more and more important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this is kind of a paradox because it's easier each day to reach more people, to for instance connect people from United States and Portugal like right now, okay, and being able
Yes.
to. But on the other side, the thing is, when we have a kind of a broader way to get more people, we have also a broader way to find more people who specific situations that
Mhm.
need to be kind of embraced and brought as well to the conversation. How
Yes.
which challenges do you think that we have by these times?
Well, so we can talk from several perspectives. I like to speak from the creative perspective as a live streamer, becoming new to the game, learning technology, but still always having the mindset of being inclusive. How can I make sure that my content is accessible to individuals with disabilities, people that I have served my whole working professional life, and I don't want to stop now. Now it's more of a time to really have these discussions and assist others to understand how important it is and how really it helps their business. It helps their you're being inclusive, but you're also have profit, that you get out of it. Feels good. You're being inclusive and your business begins to thrive. I think there's so many ways to be more inclusive. And I've realized
If let me just add something.
yes.
Isn't the capability that you have to being including people to when you at the end of the day you feel okay, my business is helping other people that for instance other business are not doing,
Hmm.
isn't that a profit as well?
What do you mean? Clarify.
Okay, I go at the end of the day, I put
Yeah,
my head in my pillow and I feel with my business I help people that usually don't get help on any
sure.
other kind of business. Okay, they feel included by what I do.
Mhm.
Isn't that a kind of profit?
Yeah, of course. But there's intrinsic value, right? The profit that you get in your heart. I love helping people and I've done it and I don't make much money. I mean, I don't have six figures here, folks. I really am a servant, a public servant. I work for the state and my job is disability navigation. Falling into content creating and trying to bring all that diversity inclusiveness over has been difficult for me, trying to find different providers, streaming services to make my content accessible to be more inclusive. So, and actually I found it to be, it's very difficult financial barriers to making your content inclusive. So for captions, and we can talk about a little bit because I do want to point out some of these accessibility features, talking about captions, right? That is inclusive for those that are hard of hearing, deaf community. Now, we have to first we multi-stream, right, to multiple platforms. So when it comes to live streaming, we have to be aware of what platforms we're streaming to. So for me, I take that into consideration. I want to make sure that all the platforms have some sort of captions option. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and Amazon. Well, I don't stream to Amazon, so we can talk a little bit about Amazon as we move forward in the conversation. But it's really important to know what platforms. So for Twitch, I have to do preparations. I have to get the extensions prepared and open it up on the side so it picks up the voice for my microphone. So that's something I have to do as a content creator to make sure that I'm providing that on that specific platform. It's just like when we're setting up our streams and we want to make sure on LinkedIn, we click the little button to make sure the captions are enabled. We want to make sure we take that extra step to make sure that that is there available. I always like to encourage, when you're making clips, you're making your smaller content out of your larger content, burn some captions in there and give it that way. And there's multiple tools. We can talk a little bit about that. But I really do find that accessibility needs to be thought of on the forefront when we're creating and implemented into those processes. Because on the back end, it's like, okay, it's a lot more work. We all know how production works. If you don't take care of it on the front, on the back, production is just a pain.
Absolutely.
So, but that's just talking about, let me go to my notes real quick. Now that's just talking about the hard of hearing, but then we have visually impaired. So we have someone that's visually impaired and they're trying to listen in on the conversation. What I've started to do, and I know Mackenzie's done this as well, is giving a visual descriptor before we go ahead and start our stream. Hey, thank you for listening. My name's Deejae. I'm a Latina brunette with silver hair. I have a big smile. I'm wearing a purple shirt, right? It gives that visual descriptor to the listener. If they're visually impaired, they're going to have that image of who's that voice. And now they can create the imagery in their head to feel more inclusive. It's like describing a product. You want to make sure you give it a complete description. Lots of people are on the go. They're listening through audio only. So it works in so many ways. It really benefits. It's just like when you're watching a stream and you're working and you have to mute it, but you don't want to miss the conversation. You wish you had captions. You're scrolling and there's a video and you can't listen to it, but you really want to it's one of your favorite content creators and they don't have captions. You can't stop and watch it. You have to keep going. So it really has so many purposes, but it's important to think about it on the front end and start implementing those processes. I think one other thing, just to finish this up, is that once you implement it, it just becomes easier, right? It becomes second nature. Then you just say, okay, I just want to make sure that I know that at the end, I'm going to try to put the captions here. And then knowing your software. You have to know your software, what you're using. So taking advantage of all the resources you have available to you and how can you use what you have to be as inclusive as possible.
Perfect. And that thing, that introduction thing, it's so I don't know, mind blowing to me because I'm seeing, and the thing is, we heard all the time, put yourself on the shoes of the others and whatever, and I take for so granted that the way I look, the way I sound, and whatever, and introducing myself, saying, "Look, I'm this Portuguese crazy guy located in Portugal." Okay, I think it's a different way to show you. It's kind of when you read a book and you talk about the characters are talking, but you don't have any clue how they look. And this, oh my God, so good point.
But it helps. So even in a podcast, so this turns to a podcast. Let's say it turns to audio only. Now you've given the visual descriptor. You can include it in your podcast. It gives that listener a visual and it brings them in next time, right? Because the mind likes to create those visuals. If you don't, give them some descriptors, the mind's going to create whatever it wants. So it really does help. It really does be like, oh, this is more, I know where I'm at, right? It gives you that feeling of knowing where you're at, a feeling of safety. So mental safety, I think it's always helpful. The other thing was with the audio podcast, it's always good, the transcription. And I do want to talk a little bit about transcribing because this is something that I've been working on lately. I've struggled for the last year as a solo small business owner, really just trying to work my way and navigate my own self through content creating. And I found a script, which I love, that really gives you the text that you can use. You can even put subtitles when you make your clips, when you make your little shorts, to cross promote and to give to your potential guests to share, put on different social media platforms. So it continues to grow. Once you burn those captions in, those are called open captions. Once you burn those in and you send them out, they'll always be there. And that's really going to continue to have Marco or DJ or the next creator say, their stuff's always inclusive. I already know that. And hashtagging, if you use captions, hashtag closed captions. It helps others find the videos that have the captions in them for them to be able to interact and engage with that content. Now, I have a question for you, Marco. And you've been creating for a long time.
Yes.
So, and this is something I've been pondering in my own conversations up here in my head. But when we're creating content and we're trying to figure out how we're going to get out there and what we're going to do, and how can we just get more people to notice us, right? That's what we want, to come to us, to engage with us. Oh, goodness. I see so many comments and I want to look at the comments. So, Martin, thank you for your comments. Anita,
We will
hi.
jump in the comments in a while. So-
I know. I'm like, but I just, again, you're creating something that is inclusive. And then you think of how Google, you talk about SEO. So let's talk about SE rankings. And so I've been noticing when you take, the metadata, the descriptor, what do they call those? The descriptions in the videos. When you're uploading, you're putting all the
Yes.
information to upload the videos. So what I'm saying is, I think that the bots, the computers, the crawlers, they're reading the information. They're trying to figure out what's in that video. So
Yes.
in those descriptors, you also want to include that information, because you want crawlers, you want bots to know that your page is inclusive, that you're giving them as much information to move forward, to push out. I mean, we're all moving virtually here. I mean, and you want to think of how many people don't really use their eyes to see things or to get information. They have computers and bots. Once again, they have screen readers providing that information for communication purposes. So the more information you can include into your video descriptions and anywhere into your content, the more chances you have of having your content found, because those bots and those crawlers are reading it and consuming that and really getting more information than they would, with someone that doesn't really incorporate that. And I think we're moving more towards that accessibility. We're moving more towards that, that the computers are doing all the work, right? We talk about AI all the time and all this stuff. So, I mean, you want your stuff to be found. So start doing it now, because as we continue to move in 5, 10, I mean, it's going to become more and more prevalent, more and more important. Yes, tags. Thank you, Chris. I love that. Tags. All those
Yes.
information that you put in there, because a bot is not going to watch your video. I mean, it could. It's going to read the transcription, maybe.
Yes, yes. You made me anxious now, because yes, yes. The thing is, this is kind of crazy. Look, you were talking, and I thought, well, I don't take that much time to work on description, tags, and whatever. I spend most of the time on creation. And the thing is, it's useless to create if you don't send the right breadcrumbs so people can find you.
Yes, breadcrumb. There you go.
So I think I will invest more time in, instead of being creating like a crazy, on sending those cables to
Yes.
people to find me, because yes, it makes all sense, because we say, okay, I want to create this and this and this and this, and it's kind of like you're throwing things to the sea and there's no fish there. So thank you so much. Let's go to the comments a little bit.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So we have here so many good people. Chris, hello, Chris.
good morning.
We have
I'm in the
Martin.
East. Yes.
Okay,
East Coast.
they are networking, and this is. I'm always trying to improve my inclusivity. It's important, yes, indeed.
Hi,
Hello and good morning. Hello, Gabi. ¿Qué tal?
Gabe. Gabriela.
Many people have started to think of inclusivity and diversity as just talk points or buzzwords, but it's critical to be considerate of different audiences and their needs. Perfect. Okay, we have hello, another hello. This is my description. I'm Marco, and I
Yes.
just got a fresh new haircut and a duck pillow behind me, and some LED lights
Perfect.
as well.
Perfect. I like it. That's
Okay,
so great. You can have fun
hello,
with
and
it. Yes.
yes, we have Anita as
Hi, Anita.
well. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you.
Never thought. Yes, yes, what I mentioned before as well. Okay, given the visual descriptors, especially voice podcasts.
And it
Yes.
only takes a second. Once you memorize it, it's always almost the same descriptor because your appearance doesn't change. So it's always the same, like 5 seconds. Hey, it's DJ, silver hair, brunette, Latina, brown eyes, big smile, blue shirt today. Hey, welcome.
Perfect. Perfect. And noted. Yes, perfect. And we have to help Anita with the name to her podcast.
Yes.
Okay, and CR6 figures are
Aw.
coming. And Chris, transcription also helps to get found later. And I think we can talk a little bit about this because this is one of the things where the AI is doing an amazing work, an amazing job because they do this almost by themselves. We don't need to. So,
Yes.
do you have any feedback about how people are embracing this? And because another thing you were mentioned about this, getting the small nuggets with the subtitles, and
Mhm.
this came to another thing which is important. We create content, and it doesn't matter on which field. We create content to help people,
Mhm.
hopefully, to impact. And the thing is, most of the times, and shame on me, we this long form content, and we don't get the small nuggets properly adapted so we can keep impacting people with
Yes.
the thoughts we have.
It's hard. Last night I had an episode and I'm like, let me upload it to Descript. Let me try to get this. Let me try to get the captions. I was like, I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. I got to do a live with Marco in the morning. I mean, it just stays there. And right. But again, making the micro content, eventually having that text, it's like an audiogram. We love it. I love a good audiogram. So,
Perfect,
yes,
perfect.
thank you, Gabe. That's
Use
it.
your tools to help create better micro content and branding your digital assets. It's
And then
important as well.
if you cannot find, or if you find that your software is really giving you a hard time with what you need, those captions, and I'm not trying to call out anybody in particular, any brand in particular, but I had to switch streaming services because I had a hard time with that particular thing. So sometimes you have to use a third party and you have to use the integration features. So go ahead, do the research. If not, like reach out, right? There's so many of us that are really trying to help other creators expand and grow and be more inclusive. Why not? I mean, works out for everyone.
Perfect, perfect. That's okay. I'm already. And good evening from Bali. This is
Ooh,
everywhere.
so
Okay. Tags work well. LinkedIn live streams, which I started last week, now already has 60 followers and it's populating a live streaming one stop shop. Yes. And we have to give a big shout out to Gabe because this is a huge work you're doing. Thank you so much. And I think I can give a spoiler. Next week,
mhm.
Gabe will be replacing you on that seat.
All right. Here you go. You can take the seat.
So stay tuned next
Yay.
week as well.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. He's wonderful.
Okay, and let's see. Yes, figuring out how to get more people to know and understand your offering and content. Perfect.
Mhm.
Great initiative. Yes, Alex Chambers will be excited with that.
Alex is
Like
great.
I am. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
61 followers. I don't know, but I will follow for sure. I'm not sure. I will check it. I will check. And yes, I think this is a nice way as well to be more inclusive because when we give the right clues so people can find us as well, and usually I think we are lazy, and I think the human being is by nature lazy. Okay, but the thing is, this laziness, it's kind of ruining our the job we do. Okay, because there's no sense if we do let me put kind of numbers. If we do a 50 work, and we don't, because we have this extra 10 with the right description tags and whatever,
Yes. Yes.
but we don't want to make this extra 10, the other 50, it's kind of useless.
It devalues it, but it devalues it, right?
Yes.
I mean, like you
Yes.
said, we're putting content out there, but the chances of it being found diminish very quickly once all the competition steps up and other people are putting that information in there and they're starting to understand, like, wait, this is important. There's lots of purpose. There's other machines gathering that information for people to be able to participate and engage and consume your content, find your products. So, super important.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
have you noticed, and I think it's already, it's maybe it's a little bit earlier, but this thing, events kind of going back more offline, or
Hmm.
I think this will go a little bit a blended approach with offline and online together. But I think in the offline world, there's other kinds of things to do as well when
Hmm.
we talk about inclusion.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Other things to do? I mean, you mean like other, like the digital virtual space?
We have the on offline
Offline.
space,
Offline.
and okay, we
Communication, right?
have how to include this with the online world and make it inclusive as well,
Mm.
because there's some things in the offline which are not that easy, kind of,
Mhm.
to
Yes.
adapt. Okay,
Yeah.
but maybe using the blended approach would be easier.
Yeah. I mean, I think it takes, you have to understand what you're doing and the world around you, your environment. So I think you have to really pay attention to what you're doing and what's going on around you, and then what's available to you to really um, make an impact, right? I hope I'm answering your question. I mean, for me, I advocate and it's communication. How can I be a better communicator? How can I be a better speaker, presenter, host, guest, to really get that message across, whether it's virtually or whether it's in my community, whether it's at the local grocery store where I need to get something. So I think inclusivity, if that's what we're talking about, or accessibility, like outside, there's a whole lots of barriers when it comes to the external world. And I think because of what's going on with the pandemic, then everything is definitely much more virtual. And we're all, you know, captivated, kept, we're isolated. And this is the way that we're communicating. This is more becoming more normal than the outside world, it seems. We're leaning more into virtual spaces than into physical spaces.
Perfect, perfect. And we have another comment here.
Aw.
Also, let's not forget that the office and offline and online line is blurring more and more every day. Can someone stay metaverse?
I knew this was gonna come up. This has been so hot. And the meta word. God, can we say that? I don't even know if we can say that, but it's so true. So very true. So I think that so an able-bodied individual, someone that has easily accessible to go out into the community, out into public, get in their car, get, some mode of transportation, get out and about, go to nature, go get something from the store. And then there's people that are just do not have that mobility issues, and they have been trying to obtain what they need virtually for a very long time. And so now with the pandemic, more people realize, I think it's become more evident, the barriers to so many individuals with disabilities or mental health issues or just, right? And the pandemic has really made that a lot more obvious. We all know that. I mean, there's no secret there. So with all that other stuff personally going on within ourselves, our family members, our audience, our clients, it's just absolutely imperative that it should stay in the forefront of our minds and how we're communicating and how we're sharing in these delicate, sensitive times.
Yes, and you there's again another situation, and we talked about this before
Mhm.
going live, which is the language.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, language. And we're global,
We
right? Everything's global now.
Yes, yes, it is. But in the opposite side, there are people that they, for instance, they don't understand English, they don't understand Portuguese, they don't understand Spanish as well. How can, because this is challenging, you know. I think it's challenging because, for instance, I'm speaking now in English. My native language is Portuguese, and I
Mhm.
know that some people in my community they don't understand this. And in the opposite side, if I start talking português agora, muitos de vocês não iam entender nada do que eu estou a dizer.
Picked up maybe a couple syllables because of Spanish, but that's about it. Right. That's inaccessible to me. I don't understand what you're saying.
So this is a really great challenge, right?
Hmm? Yes.
Because we have two plates to balance,
Mhm.
and we don't, sometimes we have, okay, again, we sometimes we have to prioritize, and I
Yes.
I had to make this by myself because at some point I thought, okay, I can stay making my live shows in Portuguese, but and I think I speak a little bit Portuguese than I speak English, for instance. I think I
Mhm.
do. But and I think I can make it, I don't know, better, but at least more understandable for my closest people. But the thing is, if I go English, I can go broader. I can get a different and a variety of guests
Mhm.
broader as well.
Yes.
So I had to make this decision. But do you have any kind of shortcuts so we can at some point
Let's see.
include other languages?
Right. With languages, I'm not sure because, again, I mean, English is my first language, even though I know Spanish and I speak Spanish and I don't stream in Spanish. I feel a little nervous sometimes about talking Spanish myself. So, but hey, that's my own thing with, you know, but language can be intimidating. Really having those communication barriers can be very intimidating. Even wanting to learn a third language and just like, ooh, should I try it? Should I try to learn something? But I don't
Try
know.
Portuguese. Try Portuguese. It's easy.
I mean, like I said, I can pick up a few words here and there, syllables that sound somewhat familiar, but I don't know. I mean, I hope that these platforms and I hope that they do have options for language, changing languages, making it easier. And this goes back to what I was thinking about earlier. And I don't know if I really clarified that point, but challenging these software saying, hey, we need this as a content creator, make it easy for me. Don't make it harder. Because then like you said, we're busy. There's so much going on. We've got to move on to the next project. We have a to-do list. And having our own creative barriers, kind of says, okay, then, maybe I don't have to do that and we'll just move on and let me just finish this up whatever way I can. Sometimes we do that. And So, challenging the software and saying, hey, is that going to be a feature that is going to come out? Is there a way to include that into the software that I use every day? I think we all have to get together, become allies, and voice the need as creators, not charging us extra to add captions. I mean, you want to talk about profiting off of a disability. You're charging extra as a creator for me to be able to add some captions. So, in Zoom, let's give it up to Zoom finally including captions. I mean, it's taken them quite a bit, but finally they're like, it should be free, it should be included. It's a communication. Everyone has the right to communication. And now, here in the United States, ADA. So you want to go globally and look at the what is it, the WCAG guidelines that really are more global on how to make our websites more accessible, and just kind of always remembering that our information is there for the whole world.
Indeed. And we have more comments here from Martin.
Martin.
Let me see.
I wish on that comment. I like that. What's that?
Global barriers and language barriers are coming down due to technology. That's also that up. Yes, it is.
Wonderful.
Thankfully, already digital currency is challenging the old model, and so the same can be applied to language barriers and so on. Yes, indeed. Marco, you are to become so much for expanding. Thank you.
It's okay. So, I mean, it's not easy when you learn a new language, you put yourself in another country. I mean, that takes guts. That's courage. So,
I'm crazy, you know?
in a good way. We're fun. Say fun.
Yeah,
life.
and,
full of life.
And I think we can talk about this as well, because this is a scaring experience, a frightening experience when you go live and you don't know who is on the other side and what they are thinking about you as well. And one day I was doing a training. Okay, one of the things I used to do was training future trainers, because here in Portugal, if you want to go to certified training, you have to have a diploma or something. Okay, and I was teaching them, and I was talking about video and whatever, and a student was looking at me scared. I think he was seeing himself doing a live video, and he was, and if, and I said, and if not. Because the good thing is, and I don't know about you, but I can talk about my experience so far. And I started this 6 years ago plus, and I had, I don't know if I had 5 trolls on my shows in this whole time. So I don't think, and this could be also, can get us to another point of the conversation that I think it's important as well, which is when people who usually it's easy for them to be heard, to be seen, they, with this platform, they can reach a broader. Let's talk, for instance, about Dom. I think you know Dom, the amazing Dom. Domingos. You don't know him? I think you know him. Domingos Fernandes from Canada. Yeah,
no,
I think you do.
No,
you don't?
No.
I should introduce you.
Yeah,
because
okay.
he has oh my god, MS. Okay, and he's broadcasting all the time. He does live shows. He does karaoke shows.
Ooh.
And I think it's this brought as well a nice way for people to have a voice. Do you know other examples of people which they overcome this barrier with live streaming, for instance?
Wow. I mean, I don't know. I think there's lots of good creators out there that are really starting to understand, but it takes time for all of us to learn how we're going to implement that into our creating. So I had Anna Morgan on my show, the 28th, was it? Monday? And I think she's a great creator where she's very inclusive with making her videos. Now she doesn't stream like live stream, but when she does create her content, it's so easy to find. It's so easy to follow. So I really like that. You know, she would be a good example of someone that I really like appreciate, and I think really strives to be more inclusive in her creating. And she's found a good way to do it that works for her. So it's really figuring out, what do you use a lot? Right. And like, we can talk a little bit about, I mean, there's things out there, Subly, mixed captions, just those closed captionings, gosh darn it, and visual descriptors. Those really help tremendously. Again, and putting that information into the information when you're uploading your videos. So
Okay. Tags and description.
tag descriptions, yeah. Checking things to make sure it's keyboard friendly. Don't assume that everyone uses a mouse. So check your stuff, making sure that it's keyboard friendly, because that's also important for accessibility as well. When you're, adding things to your website or just putting stuff, and knowing that, again, your services, like your streaming. I think that's important. That's how I do it. But again, you know what you use the most. You know what platform you're streaming to. So and then guiding your audience, I think, is another valid point I guess I should make. Because if I'm going to challenge you here, Marco, about Amazon, the captions on Amazon. Are there captions on Amazon? When I went looking, I couldn't find any on any of the streams.
I
So
think
it's kind of knowing, right?
Today we are not broadcasting on Amazon, so I think I can say this.
Okay, that's fine.
There's a long journey to make on Amazon, for instance, and I think this is something I don't like it. Okay, because for instance, I have people from my community which don't speak, or because it's easier to speak than it is to write. At least as I think.
Sure.
And for instance, sometimes people come to my broadcast and they write down in Spanish or Portuguese, and in few minutes the content it's deleted. Okay, it's flagged like, okay. So this is the first thing. Amazon Live doesn't allow you to speak other language than English.
Oh, okay. That's a barrier right there. Boom.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, and I think this way, one of the approaches you can have on Amazon, and I think it's pretty normal logic, and it should be as well profitable in the money side of the thing. Let's talk about this as well. They have things about trips. They have something about learning, and for me, it makes all sense. For instance, I'm a Portuguese teacher, an English teacher, a Spanish teacher, whatever language teacher, and I have their books, for instance, kind of make a class on an Amazon Live. Okay, but if you go there and you speak, sometimes I speak Portuguese, but small things. But I think it would be good to allow people, okay, maybe filling a form saying, okay, I will do this kind of shows, and sometimes I can speak other languages. Why not? So yes, I think there's but also it's the newest platform on live streaming. So maybe, and hopefully they will move a
be a
little bit
leader,
forward
right?
with that.
Be that leader, advocate. That's why it's important. That's why we bring it up. That's why we're like, well, what's Amazon? How are we going to address this, Amazon? I mean, we add it as soon as you can. Ask for it. I mean, there's other things. So, I mean, even like the Discord doesn't have captions when you're in those rooms, those video rooms. So it's just, again, another platform, and figuring out where you're at, what you're doing, what it provides. If it doesn't, challenging the software, asking. They always want feedback. So And the more creators that they know are really requesting this, then they'll really prioritize it and hopefully be able to take care of that, like offer that. I mean, I love it when you get those emails saying this new feature, this new integration, this new, and you're like, yeah. You know, when I got an email saying that Otter was going to be integrated with one of my softwares, I was thrilled. I mean, as someone that wants to be as inclusive as possible and is trying to find ways to connect all these different creation softwares and putting it all together, we're all learning. It takes time. So, but sharing it, talking about it, collaborating, it kind of really kind of helps us all grow, I think. Goes back to that.
Indeed, indeed. Let's go into the comments again.
Oh,
Okay, and we have a newcomer here. There needs to be more tools available. Yes, Garin came as well.
hey.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello, hello.
That Australian should be called out.
Yes.
Okay. I moved to Spain for 3 months only to learn Spanish. A second language is hard. Yet in Europe, if you don't speak 2, 3 languages already, you will shock your peers. I don't take that for granted, you know. I don't take that for granted because there's, for instance, due to the accent as well, for Spanish people, it's really tough to learn other languages because they have that accent, and you can tell easily that it's a Spanish speaking English, for instance.
Mhm. Yes, yes.
So yes, it is. Let me see what else. The monsters on the other side of screen complex. Yes, yeah. Okay,
So
and
funny.
by the way, yes, tomorrow I will be broadcasting. I have this weekly show, and Dom will be on the screen
Oh,
as well. Yes, it will be at 5 p.m. on my side, so it should be. Let me see.
12, 1.
1 p.m. your side, I think.
Mhm.
I think it will be 1 p.m. your side. So if you want to tune in, and
Hey,
also if you want to join, I'm really sure that you will. I thought you already know him, but
no,
it will.
I don't think so.
Dom,
That doesn't sound familiar.
Domingos Fernandes doesn't sound you. Dom.
Domingo Hernandez. No, does not sound familiar. No lo
Okay.
conozco.
The good thing is, I think their parents, at least his parent, he's from Portugal, from
Mhm.
Algarve. It's in the other side of the country. I live in the north. Algarve, it's in the south. The place where people go to spend the summer holidays.
Ooh,
And
nice.
he's an amazing guy. It's if you want to define warrior in a person, it's Domingos, because he's amazing. He's
Domingo.
amazing.
Nice. Wonderful.
Yes. So tomorrow he will be. Martin is asking, "What's a mouse?"
Yes.
And he's saying Amazon has a different purpose and motive for their live streams. They know that what they are doing, it's all about the money. Well, sometimes the money could be inclusive as well.
I mean, money is important. We all want to make money,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah.
They have actually let the cat out of the bag earlier than will work for them, because no, we know. Amazon may not adapt to the feedback as much because they have their own agenda. Yes, that's true. Yes, but it's still important to raise your voice and band here. Okay, yes, it is.
Thank you, Martin. Your support is so
Well,
wonderful.
no, thanks to you. Okay, and he's talking about them. Perfect.
Yeah. That
So
makes
I don't know. I don't know if you, because I think, and as you mentioned, preparation when we talk about content, it's so key.
mm,
Can you give us some tips about how we can in a operational way, how we can prepare to make a more inclusive uh, live stream, for instance?
okay. So I think with the live streaming, making sure, okay. So I would say make sure your connection is solid. You want a good solid network connection. You want to make sure, let me move this because I got stuff right here. I got my notes for you.
Okay.
You want to make sure that there's this little noise, background noise. You want your live stream to be clear. You want to make sure you consider if there's music. That could be distracting to some individuals with, their concentration or focus. So even the consideration of if you play music in your background, how is that? Is it really loud? And just kind of considering that. Also talking slower, really clearly pronunciating, ensuring that the transcription is going to be clear when it's done, like YouTube, because YouTube will provide a transcription after it's done. And we share a lot about how the transcription can be funny and say funny things. So if we pronunciate properly or slow down to really speak, it helps with the transcription in the end. And I think we've already talked about just making sure your platform, your platform and where you're streaming, and that you've preset everything to make those captions available. Let's see. Yeah, making sure your extensions are ready, making sure, it's part of the pre-production process. And I think, as live streamers, we have these checklists that we create. And it's really double checking those checklists to see where you can make those minor changes. And once you implement them, it just becomes second nature and it becomes easier. And it will pay off in the long run. So I think in live streaming, those are things you could do immediately.
And you mentioned something that I like to mention as well when I do my trainings, for instance, is this, and this is something that happens often. When we are in these dangerous situations, usually we tend to speak fastly because we think, okay, we delivered the message fastly and then we can finish and we can go home and that's it.
I do that too.
But the problem is when you're starting, usually when you start, it's kind of like you're a small child and you just raise for the first time and you start and you try to start running. What will happen to you? You will fall. End of story. And it's the same. I had this small experience on theater, okay, and the first time I had a kind of a big role, and I was conscious about it because there's this difference sometimes, and I like this conscient ignorance when you in a deliberate way it's not important, you just throw a part, it's not important,
Right,
you just do it,
dismiss
but
it.
yes, but the thing is,
Half-ass
when
it.
I had this first big role, I had huge parts to say, huge text, and I thought, okay, let me do this fast, and I will deliver the message, and I'm done. The thing is, your tongue starts rolling, you start blah 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 blah, and this will create this snowball effect of disgrace. You know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the thing is, you're starting broadcasting. You're kind of nervous. If you start speaking fast, you will get out of air as well. Breathing is crucial when you do live streaming because it consumes lots of energy, and you should be
Yes.
aware of that. So
Yeah.
if you speak slowly, even though, for instance, you don't speak properly the language because it's not yours, like in my case, okay,
Correct.
if you speak slowly, it also gives you time to your brain to make this translation work and whatever.
Yes.
So, and also it will be easy for people to understand you as well, and it will be easier for robots to understand you as well.
Yeah.
So it's crucial, I like to say this, it's crucial to speak slowly. Okay, sometimes you need to speak a little bit faster, okay, it's not a problem, but at least at the beginning, it's so there's another reason for you to
Yes.
speak slowly. It's
Yeah.
to make others capable of understanding you, and
Yeah.
this is crucial in this understanding thing, right?
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful point, Marco.
So we are almost reaching the end. This time flies.
It does. It does. It does.
Can you share kind of because you talked about some, but I think you can share a list of tools that we
Hmm.
can use to be more inclusive, and I think this is something that we can be a little bit egoistic about this as well. Okay, because we want to reach a broader audience, we want our content to have more life. So which tools can we use to have this?
Oh, okay. I need to be more prepared, but I did share some. Uh, using that software like Subly that can help with captions, mixed captions, even Instagram. Even Instagram now added captions to their little videos. So if you're making those little short videos, record it, and then you can have that burnt in there and then save it. I mean, no, just saying. You have to know what you have. I can't say that enough. Tools. What other tools? Now, I know that I was looking at your tool in video. You use in
Mhm.
video. Do they have captions in there? Do you know? I was like, let
I
me
don't
check
think
that
not yet,
out.
but I already asked them. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay. That again, advocating. There we go. That's great. So yeah, when you're looking for software, when you're going to invest your money, checking to see that it's going to provide you, those that it's going to provide you and make it easier for you to create on the back end. So you want to check what you're going to invest in on the front end for your production, for your creating. Again, Descript, I'm really love that software. It's text based. Depends how you learn. We didn't really talk about that, but depending on how you learn, or if you're visual, if you're auditory, if you're kinesthetic. But I like the words, and then I can take that and I can use that and put it up into YouTube and have proper transcription there. You can use that for an audio podcast and share that, providing a text version of the podcast to make it more inclusive. So I think that for me, that's just really all I can share because that's what I use. And, but as a new creator, that's what I can speak to. And it does take time to figure that out. But again, you have to prioritize it and you can't half-ass it.
Okay, we have a question here. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Let me see. Tick, tick, tick. Okay, and I think it's a good way to kind of finish the show.
Okay. What? Oh,
DJ from Anita, what is Silver Fox Talks?
what is that? What is this? So that's my moniker. I mean, that's my handle. That's where everyone can find me if that's where we're going as we close out the show. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. It's Silver Fox Talks. It's my business. It's my LLC. It's my website. So that's how anyone can connect with me, reach out to me. I like meeting new people. I like advocating. I like hearing and sharing stories. I also have my show that really focuses on mental health, disability, and trauma, and just sharing our stories and how we're all just people and, trying to connect and just let everyone know that we all have our struggles that we're going through. So that's really like about me. And it goes back to my passion for advocacy and accessibility and just creating a community.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Look at that. I
Thank you
finished
so
right
much.
on the hour.
Yes. Yes. It's not. I can't say it's the Portuguese punctuality because my God.
Listen, I'm not saying that. We have our own stereotypes when it comes to punctuality and being a
Yes, but Portuguese people, believe me, it's not a stereotype. It's a real type. For instance, if you schedule a meeting to start at 9 p.m., for instance. People will start arriving at 9 p.m. They won't be there to start the meeting at 9 p.m. They will start arriving. Okay.
Ah, right. Yes.
so, so have in mind, if you connect, if you try to make something with a typical Portuguese, it's how it works. So the trick is, you want to start the meeting to start at 9 p.m. Make them to say to them, it will start at 8:30 p.m. So at 9 p.m. they are there.
Right.
DJ, thank you so much for your time to share and sharing all this knowledge with us. Let's commit being more inclusive and
Yes.
taking care of these situations, because I think I'm pretty sure that it's a win-win situation, because you will get more audience, you will get more viewers, more listeners, more people which you can help. But because at the end of the day, what you're willing to do is to help people.
Mhm.
Okay. And hopefully you will get more customers as well, you will get more happy people, you will get more happier as well, because I'm pretty sure that when you help people you will get more satisfied, more grateful. So thank you so much for sharing with us all these reflections and insights.
Oh,
And thank you so much to our audience, Martin, Gabe, Sonia. Who else? Oh my God, so many people there. uh,
wonderful. Thank you.
Chris, Mackenzie, thank you so much for taking your time. To Russ as well, thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you,
so much to
Mackenzie.
SA ranking as
Sorry.
well, which allows it. And this could be also a nice tool that you can try. You can
Yeah.
you can get the link as well, because
Wonderful.
it helps a lot about content and to
There you
find
go.
the best keywords to see what your competitors are doing as well. So take
Ooh.
a try. Thank you so much. I will be next week with Gabe here, so stay
Yay.
tuned, because this will be awesome as well. Bye bye.
Fantastic.
Bye bye.